It's that time of the year again, Maplecon, but this year it's a little bit different and has the opportunity to be one of the biggest announcements of all time. In today's video, we're gonna go over what Maplecon is. We're gonna debunk some stuff because I've just been hearing so many people say that Maplecon is literally just going to be old school Maplestory, and that is just completely untrue. We're gonna go through my predictions slash expectations of the entirety of Maplecon, and then we're also gonna go through a few leaks. I'm gonna give my personal opinion on some of these leaks and why I would not want some of these things to come back or to come into the game. Now, first things first, what even is Maplecon? Because I'm sure a lot of people are unsure what I'm even talking about. Maplecon is a once a year celebration of Maplestory, but this year is a little bit different. It is going to be their biggest Maplecon they have ever held, and this year it is going to be a lot more focused on the game and potentially slash hopefully fixing Maplestory GMS and giving the player base what they have been asking for a very long time. On the website specifically says Maplecon LA 2025 is our biggest celebration yet, now with the convention style stage sessions, exclusive merch, and the first ever public demo of GMS Classic World. Now, I know a lot of people think that Maplecon is going to be a big selling point for Classic World, and yes, it definitely is. They're going to talk about old school Maplestory a ton at Maplecon, as they absolutely should, and I don't think that's a bad thing. I actually think it's a really good thing. People who are currently playing Maplestory, they have zero desire to play Classic Maplestory, but I don't think that is what Classic World is about. Classic World is about getting all the old school players back into GMS Maplestory and then potentially converting them into GMS players. Now, old school Maplestory from a new gen Maplestory player's perspective is not going to do good, but in my opinion, I think old school Maplestory is going to be one of the biggest things that Maplestory has seen in a while, and I think it's going to be extremely necessary for them to sell old school Maplestory at Maplecon. But as you guys can see from the Maplecon website, that is not all it's going to be. Session 1 is going to be build a monster. Session 2 is going to be the saga of Althea. Now, this could be interesting because this could potentially introduce a season 3 of Ride or Die, and we're gonna get into my predictions slash expectations on this a little bit later. Session 3 is going to be the GMS Classic World Developer Panel. Now, this is obviously going to take up a big chunk of their time. Join Inkwell and Nemi to learn how GMS Classic World is being crafted, as they share the inspiration and what Maplers can expect when it launches. Now, like I said earlier, I know a lot of people aren't interested in old school Maplestory who are playing currently, but I genuinely think that it's going to be a very big hit, and it's going to bring a lot of players back to the game, which is a big thing that Maplestory needs. They need to bring back players, bring in brand new players, and I think that's what old school Maplestory is meant to do. Lastly, the main session, which I just see a lot of people skipping this or not even knowing that this is a thing. The main session, the biggest session, the session that is going to take the longest and has the most content, is going to be the Maplestory Showcase, the winter update announcement. Inkwell and Dr. Lim will walk you through new content, features, and surprises for the winter update. This is the ultimate highlight of Maplecon LA 2025. Now, I know what you're saying, don't get your hopes up, but I'm gonna get my hopes up. I'm absolutely gonna have high expectations. I am praying and I'm hoping that they absolutely knock this main session out of the park, and it is everything that we have been hoping for. Apparently, they have been working behind the scenes a lot on GMS, so let's just hope that in this Maplecon, they just reveal everything that they have been working towards. Now, specifically, I want to go over my predictions slash expectations on what this main session and Maplestory Showcase slash winter update announcement is even going to be. I think there's so much stuff that they can add, and I really just hope that they add a bunch of things that Maplestory has been asking for. Let's go through those predictions now. We have been talking about this for quite a while now. I think a pitch pity system is something that they most definitely are going to talk about at this main session at Maplecon. Now, what do I think the pitch pity system is going to be? These are my predictions. I think there are going to be crystals that drop from bosses that you can trade at a vendor. I think they're going to introduce a higher pitch boss drop rate, and I think they're also going to add a pitch trace revival with either in-game money. And lastly, I think they're going to add a pitch trace revival with misos. Now, obviously, we've been talking about this quite a lot, and this is really just something that needs to happen in Maplestory Reboot. As everyone knows, the pitch system is the biggest crutch in making gains in this game, and it is one of the biggest upgrading systems on any character. And with the game progressing faster and faster and faster nowadays, it is essential that players can progress and catch up to players at the end game. Now, another one of the big talking points that I think they're going to reveal at Maplecon is the familiar revamp. The familiar revamp is something players have been asking about for literally since familiars have been introduced into the game. I think more familiar slots is something that they need to add. Better lines on familiar. No chance to fail a tier up. One thing that I think would be super cool is like unique fam drops from mobs / bosses. I think that would be super cool. It just makes farming, it makes bossing feel that much more rewarding. And a familiar revamp is honestly just needed in the game at this point. It is so outdated. It might be one of the most outdated systems in Maplestory currently, and I say that and I quite literally mean that. I don't think there's anything that has been in the game longer without getting touched than familiars. This system needs to be changed. It is absolutely horrible, and it just feels extremely bad progression wise. Now, third prediction I have is better EXP for Reboot. As you guys know, or maybe you guys don't know, Reboot actually had a passive skill that gave Reboot passive XP and just better EXP rates. Now, the reason being for that was because this is Reboot, it's an Iron Man server, and our counterpart regular server has a Frenzy Totem. They have better spawn rate. Now, I know that's a whole different talking point about Frenzy Totem and how it's hard to get. I get that, I understand that. Frenzy Totem isn't something that everyone has access to, but there is that option there, and it can be accessible for reg server. Now, I think Reboot just ultimately needs better EXP rates because currently it takes forever to level up. We had this conversation on stream the other day, and it really got me thinking on how it really does take a extremely long time to get from level 290 to level 295 currently. It is extremely long, and I get it, that's the peak end game, but overall I think that Reboot would prosper and be such a better experience with better EXP rates. I think everybody loves leveling up faster. I think people love progressing quicker, and honestly, in this current day and age of Maplestory, you need to be pretty high level to do the new content that's being released. Obviously, as you guys know, Limbo is a level 290 boss, and it takes quite a long time to get to level 290, especially if you're a brand new player. It really does. Now, some other things that I hope that they add, but I'm not really sure. These are just kind of throw-in ideas that I think they're going to talk about. I think they might introduce Ride or Die Season 3, and let's hope that they have a home run in the bag, and it's so easy for them to literally hit this out of the park. Ride or Die Season 3 and introduce a potable badge. Easy as that. People are so excited. You literally could add that and people are going to give Maplecon a 10 out of 10 experience. Like, a potable badge is something people have been asking for again, years. Ever since the Sengoku badge got removed, I don't know how many years ago I wasn't playing. They have been asking for potable badges. This is something that people want. Now, another thing that I think they're definitely going to talk about, Challenger World Season 2 and give us an overview. I think they're definitely going to talk about the 30-star update. I think that's something that needs to be talked about. We should currently have the 30-star update in the game right now, but we don't. That's something that you can expect. And then also going back to the Inkwell note a while ago, they talked about level 3 links. I think they're also going to bring up a level 3 links. Regardless, let's move on to a leak that potentially is coming to the game. Now, this has zero credibility, by the way. I'm just kind of going over this because I think it's a little bit interesting. Posting from a burner account, so my identity stays protected. A few key items upcoming that you should prepare for prior to Maplecon. additional details surrounding new Star Force changes with the pitch coin system introduction. Sia will be getting her Masteries 3 and 4 announced with small updates to Erda Link, Lin and Mojuwan, custom skill balance in the West, and will generally be stronger in GMS. Kana will also receive custom changes that reduce the power of the class down to the standard levels as it is currently too strong and disruptive in the balance / progression ecosystem. No changes planned for Hayato. This really doesn't make any sense to me. Winter event teaser along with Challenger World. Updates to MVP system. Permanent bronze without spend upkeep and megaphones added could be such a W for Maplestory as well. This is something people were pretty upset about, not getting the free megaphones and the free MVP superpowers. They should add this in. I 100% agree with this. And then they say reintroduction of Wild Totem. Now, I honestly do not hope Wild Totem gets added to the game. I feel like Wild Totem could be one of the worst things ever to be added back in the game. I can already just see the copious amounts of ways to add this in so that like MVP Black gets unlimited Wild Totem, and then free-to-play players get like 5 hours of Wild Totem a month. Like, I just don't want this added into the game. I could just see it already. And another reason why I don't want this added into the game is because Wild Totems are the biggest FOMO item in the game. If you don't have a Wild Totem, you are not training. The EXP rates are so much better on Totem. It is insane. I don't think they're going to add Wild Totem in. I really don't. I don't see them taking out an item years ago and then adding it back in. Makes no sense to me. At the bottom, it says Inkwell will be released. Now again, this post has zero credibility. I'm just kind of throwing it out there as a talking point to kind of brainstorm and spitball ideas. I think it's fun to hypothesize random things that can happen to the game when a big update is coming, especially one as big as Maplecon, and they're hyping it up to be one of the biggest events of all time. Now let's hope they keep their word on that. They have a very bad track record of keeping their word on things, but let's hope that changes with Maplecon 2025. I'm super excited. We're going to be streaming it. We're going to be going through it. We're going to be covering it. Maplecon streams are one of the most hype and fun streams of the year. With that being said, let's hope Maplecon is everything they are hyping it up to be, and we'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.